Hey everyone, Robert here, and I wanted to talk about what happens when you run out of data per month via your ISP, your internet service provider, or through your service provider on your phone or mobile device. And what you have to do at the very beginning of all this is to do a little bit of detective work, and that's what this video is about. What you have to understand about the word unlimited is that companies use it in different ways than what we may be thinking about it, which kind of sucks. Unlimited can mean one of two things from the standpoint of the company. One, it could mean that your unlimited usage is determined by what they deem as unlimited usage through the company. A company could say that unlimited usage means that you get 500 gigabytes of data, and they take the average usage like a family of 4 or a family of 2 or whatever, compute all that stuff together, and they say, okay, you should not use any more than 500 gigs per month. So they slap the word unlimited on there. The second use of the word unlimited can mean that it is truly unlimited data, but they will put a cap on you with regard to speed. And this applies a lot towards phone usage. Verizon has an unlimited plan, but if you read within the fine print, you'll see that unlimited means that you will get 4G LTE, as of the making of this video, unlimited speed with regard to data plan up to like about 25 gigs or 28 gigs, something around that number. And then once you go over that, you will be bucked down to 3G speeds, slower speeds, but you'll still have access. So you have to keep that in mind. So probably one of the first places you need to check for data usage is your Wi-Fi router. Now this applies to your home with regard to computers and your mobile devices. So checking a couple of things. One, make sure that your password is secure. Also making sure that your password is not being passed around. If you have guests in your home and you give them your Wi-Fi password, and if it's easy enough to remember, then chances are it may be passed around. And then anyone in or around your home that has access to the signal will be able to get onto your data. So make sure that the password is secure. And don't feel like you're being a jerk if you ask them for the mobile device and you put in the password yourself. That way they can't see it and they won't know enough about it to pass it around. So a second thing to keep in mind is your SSID, and that is basically an acronym that states this is my router. Okay, every router has their own SSID. It's basically a name that identifies the router to be able to access to your network. The SSID needs to be changed other than its default. Like if you have a Linksys router or a Belcom, I can't remember off the top of my head what that is, sorry. But if you have any one of these routers, they'll have a default SSID that broadcasts it out to everybody, so you need to change that, and you need to make sure that it is not broadcasting. That's a really important thing. If you keep it from broadcasting, you will be able to keep people from being able to try and access your home network. You'll still be able to get on, but in addition to the Wi-Fi password, they will need the SSID name so that people who you want on your network will be able to get onto your network. I'm going to show you what mine looks like from the back end and being able to check your router through the administration access. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to check the area network, my local network, and I am on, of course, as you can see, a Linksys router. And I have gotten into the back end to check out things, and this is where you would go to make password changes for people to be able to access your Wi-Fi, password changes to be able to administer the Wi-Fi. So this is the area that you want to see, but on the Linksys router, and it's going to be different with every router, but essentially you're going to try and find the status here, the status of your network. And the sub choices that are here, we are wanting your local network. Basically, we're wanting to find out all of the devices that are accessing your local network, and that can include smart TVs like Roku's, Apple TV, your phones, your tablets, your computers. All of these things are going to show up on your local network. So we're going to check out the DHCP client table. Now, just for your information, DHCP stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, and that basically it doles out access numbers so that people with smart devices and computers can access your network. And what this basically is showing me is all of the devices that have access to the network. Now, this again includes computers, your mobile phones, your tablets, smart TVs, any like Roku's or Apple TVs, that sort of thing. Anything that can access your Wi-Fi is going to have access to this. Now, this does not mean apps on your TVs or mobile devices. This only includes the device itself. Now, I'm looking through here and everything checks out. Everything looks good. But if you are going through and you are checking your DHCP list here, you may see your stuff, and you need to keep an account of how many things can access the internet in your home. You may see your stuff, and you may see a lot more. You may see this whole thing filled up to where you have to scroll down. That means that you are giving or have given access, either inadvertently or voluntarily, to your router. And what you can do is you can just tap or click on the delete. And if you click on the delete, they have to go through and access it again. But keep in mind, let's say that you have a daughter or a son who is going out with someone, and you've given that someone, hey, we love you, here's our access password. They're going to be able to come back through even if they've broken up, and they're going to be able to get on here again. So it's a good idea to constantly change your password. The SSID, like I mentioned before, you don't have to do that, especially if you've selected it to be not broadcasting. But this is where you need to go to be able to boot those people or those devices off of your network, and just go ahead and change up your password, and they won't be able to access it again. Now, on your different routers, you'll have different spots where you can check your SSID and switch it to on and off. But essentially, your documentation, or you can go online and find out how to access your particular router, and each one will be a little bit different. So that is the guts of checking out your local area network and getting rid of data holes within that network. Another thing to consider with regard to sudden data usage and trying to eliminate it is what apps are being used on mobile devices. A lot of people, and especially kids, they are used to having apps on their phone, and they don't understand that data usage is a separate thing. So if you're listening to Spotify, and let's say you're listening to about 20 songs in a day, depending upon the song length and the quality of the song, you could be using between 600 megabytes to 1.8 gigabytes per month if you listen to about 20 songs per day. And you take into consideration that sometimes you're listening to all of these things in the background and walking away. And that's just off of one device. If you couple it with multiple phones, tablets, the Amazon Echo, and other devices that access the internet through music, that stuff starts to add up. And music alone will not bust your data cap limit if you have a data cap limit, but it will contribute to it. So that's the thing you need to consider. A second thing to consider is especially video. If you're accessing like Netflix or Amazon Prime or things like that, depending upon what package you have set up with there, standard video roughly takes up about 1 gigabyte of data per movie, or if you have high definition, roughly about 3 gigabytes of data per movie. So if you're binge watching an entire season of your favorite show, I mean, you do the math, that stuff can add up real quick. Going online and checking out pages doesn't take data, so you really don't have to worry about that. But if you're online to YouTube, those same type of data usages that I said with Netflix and Amazon Prime, they apply as well. You're accessing data to get video going to your computer. Now, if you have people that have multiple computers, smart TVs, mobile devices that are accessing streaming video and streaming music, all of that stuff begins to add up after a while. So, I mean, that's a little bit of detective work to see what's going on there. Something else to consider, people have access to your data, making sure that they are not just sitting outside your home accessing your data point and getting all of the data. Now, this isn't as much of a problem as it used to be, but still, if you have a password that is not secure or you're broadcasting out there, you may be having people just sitting outside your home in a car accessing your data. So that is something to check out. Well, I hope this video helps you in at least doing a little bit of detective work to see where the data might be leaving. If you have any other suggestions, leave them in the comments below. And if you know someone who may be having problems with data usage, or they say, you know, I busted through my data cap and I don't know why, pass this video along and maybe they can do a little bit of detective work and get the problem solved. So thanks and have a wonderful day.